All right, y'all. I'll just come on in here. We might as well go on and do this thing. We are live in the living room because I can't take that cold weather. So we're going to just leave that right there where it is. Let's see who's going to come join us real quick. Got our light on and everything. Y'all pouring in here. Come on, it's raining and it's cold. I feel like my sinuses are acting up. Fabian from the DMV, good to see you. And Brother Derek, good to see you. Y'all come on here. I got a lot to say. I had to come on the inside because if I sit out there and it's still raining, I ain't going to have much to say. And I got a lot to talk about today. But I ain't going to be here long because this is cutting into my nap time before we get ready for the show. Welcome to the patio. As close as we can get to the patio. I had to get close to the front door and open the door and the window. That's the best I'm going to be able to do for you. And so good afternoon, everybody. Y'all ain't doing nothing no way. Ain't nobody, y'all is, supposed to be at work and everything. You're not working on these people's jobs and stuff. So, it's all good. So y'all can check me out. Welcome to the Patio Chronicles from the living room. And I don't know why. There we go. It's cranking up. Joyce and let's see who else is on here. Brother Eric Jackson. Y'all coming on. Let me just get to it. Candace, good to see you. My cousins. And Brother Washington. Let me say this. I just got back from lunch and, had a wonderful lunch. Sit down and trying to run a couple of errands. But after lunch, I just decided time to come on home, just get back into bed before 3 o'clock. I haven't watched the news and that, usually I'll watch CNN in a little bit. I think that the articles of impeachment has been submitted by the House of Representatives against all that we saw. Your initial gut reaction is one thing, right? When you saw what happened last Wednesday, that's one thing. But now when the details, the devil is always in what? The details. The devil is in the detail, and Lord knows there were some devils involved with what went on in Washington, D.C. But isn't it wonderful just to be able to sit back and see all of it? God has a way of revealing and making things come to light that ordinarily you may not have seen. So I'm just going to give you a couple of observations. Then I'm going to leave you. I'm going to do what the devil won't do for you. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm just going to, I'm going to give you a couple of observations. Then I'm going to do for you what the devil won't do, and that is leave you alone. I hope that you are watching very carefully, because of what is happening in front of your eyes. As a young boy, I used to be fascinated. By magic. I used to be fascinated by the art of prestidigitation, as they call it. So that's what the word, that's SAT word. Presto comes from prestidigitation. And it is that regardless of what you may be looking at a thing now. And why it always fascinated me, because we would say to you that the mind, the eyes do not lie to you. The eyes don't lie. So if I saw it with my eyes, then it had to be. And then as I got a little older, here come the magician to, kindergarten or first grade. And so, he had a bird and he had a little tin can and he put the tin can over the bird. Bird disappears. The class is fascinated by it, but all the rest of the day I was wondering, where is the poor bird at? Because I saw that bird was live. He was flapping the air, everything. He put the can over it. Bird disappears. He lifts the can, bird gone. So I was always fascinated by the art of prestidigitation. So you can look at a thing and, we saw what happened last week, but we didn't really don't know the detail. Well, the details are emerging now. And so once again, like I was in kindergarten, I'm fascinated by what I'm seeing. I think it's very clear, as I said to you all last week, for when this thing was jumping off, and last Wednesday I was actually on here late again, and I didn't even know that they were streaming in there. And Nicole and several others said, "Oh, they're going. He don't even know what's going on. They are running into the Capitol." I said, "Well, I understand that." So I'm gonna give you a couple of lessons from the side of the road. Then I'm gonna tell you one of the observations that you cannot miss. Then I got to ask the question of the police chief in Atlanta and the surrounding metropolitan Atlanta areas. One is the notion that you as black folk can do what your white counterparts do. Even your grandmama told you, baby, don't you go out there and try to hang with Rusty now. I remember in my senior year, I think it must have been in high school. I'm trying to think, because I went to Norfolk High School International Baccalaureate program, so we're a little bit advanced. I think that's why I learned about I believe she was a German psychologist, Emil Durkheim, who advanced the notion of the mob mentality as a psychological understanding within the framework of how human behavior operates. And Emil Durkheim's mob mentality theory suggests that people will do in a gang that which they would never have the courage to do on their own. Right? And so, in other words, if your boys are around you and they juice you up, they can rib you into doing some stupid stuff now that you ordinarily wouldn't, even within your own human experience, even consider doing. So the mob mentality is a well-regulated, well-thought-out, well-written, and well-researched phenomenon that exists. Y'all getting DB the professor this morning. I just feel like preaching and teaching a little bit this morning. And so I'm sure that every 99.9% of the people who, although they knew they were going to a place that was going to be full of racial invective language, full of Trump flag, full of rebel flag of the St. Andrew's Cross, full of neo-Nazis, they knew who they were going to meet and commiserate with. It wouldn't, that was no mystery that you were going, if you went to this particular rally last Wednesday, you're going to see neo-Nazis, you were going to see QAnon, you were going to see all kinds of crazy people. Because, I must apologize, I'm just going to do it, to Hillary Clinton, because when she called these people a basket of deplorables, we said, well, you shouldn't, all of them are not like that. They just have a different philosophy, Hillary. But no, Hillary Clinton was 100% spot on. This is a basket of deplorables. I mean, they ought to be deplored. I mean, really, because I've been watching who been getting picked up all weekend. You know what I'm saying? Look here. Snitches code. No snitching don't apply to these punks who went up there and killed people. I don't give a damn how great you say you are. Turn them in. I mean, really. Particularly now people, no way. So, anyway, first lesson is this mob mentality will overrun you. I'm telling you, even the best among you who really say, oh, I would never do that. When the mobs get, it's just like one of my favorite little rappers, who said, now when the rim is in the system, what? Ain't no telling. Will I love them? Will I diss them? That's what they be yelling. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. I replay something. Y'all be chase something. And so you will do some things when you got that Remy in your system. And sometimes you can have Remy that's natural. Serotonin, adrenaline. And so I'm sure when them people got there, they had, you think these people went up there? Some of them did now. Said, we finna run up in there. Now, the ones who are crazy as hell, I'm talking about with a prescription and paperwork to prove it. Because there was some prescription holders in that group. I'm very clear about that. For some psychotropic medicine. There was some prescription holders. There was some who looked like they just checked themselves out of the institution and came straight to the rally. You had all kind of people at this thing. And so I'm sure when the mob said, storm the Capitol, there were a few of them out there who were like, no, I didn't sign up for that program. So I'm saying to you just in general now, then I got to move on to other things. If you even enter a protest nobly, right? And this is what I was saying to them young people who went down to the CNN Center that time to protest, who did not go there for no smashing of windows and setting stuff on fire. 99.9% didn't go for that. You know, that's why I was on there. People are like, why are you standing there with the marriage? Come on, people, come home. There were people who went to the state capitol nobly just to protest. And the mistake that I don't want you to do is confuse their right to protest with their right to run up to the Capitol. Their right to protest is as deep and as bedded in the Constitution as your right to freely assemble. Okay? And so I have a right to assemble and hang out with Keisha on here. I have a right to assemble and hang out with Baldwin on here. I have a right to assemble and hang out with George. You cannot tell me who I can freely associate with, even if you don't like them. So I have a right to hang out with you all on here. Right? But what I don't have a right to do is then run up into a building, a government facility where business is being transacted for the purpose of committing a criminal act. Now, have I ever marched into the mayor's office and sit in? Yes. Have I ever marched into the state capitol and sit in? Yes. Did I ever go into the mayor's office with the intent of holding her hostage and putting a gun to people and tasing people to death and tearing up the walls? Never have I ever, nor would I ever participate in such craziness. Nor would I encourage you to do it. And see, a real coward is one. That's why I always be, even on Facebook, all these other places. And when they call the show and everything, them Negro will tell you, yeah, I'm going to get my gun and I'm going to go down there and you ought to get your gun. We're going to put a halt to this now. We ain't going to put up with this no more. You let them do this. Come, you been me. I would, if I'd have been anywhere in Florida, I would have went and got George. He been dead man walking. They'll tell you all of that. And the Negro come right up here to Atlanta, go shopping at Greenbrier Mall and jump in his car and go back home. So don't let people gas you up. Some people going to jail for a very long time who got gassed up because they got caught up, swept up in the mob mentality. And now they're seeing their pictures put up because everybody that went into that building is now could be charged with a federal crime. And because somebody died now, there are going to be several of them who got to be identified who's going to be charged with murder. And because several other of them police officers were hurt, aggravated assault on the high federal aggravated nature. Destruction of public property. The list goes on and on and on. And not only can they face federal charges, but if the state's attorney in D.C. decide, they could be facing state charges as well. So what price would you pay to run up in a building and take off some pictures off the wall and just run your key up and down? I don't know what all they destroyed. Destroy offices, and you getting ready to do 40 years in jail. Was it worth it? I mean, that's the thing you have to ask with all of the crime. Was it worth it? And what about nephew and them? Just standing up there looking around. They ain't finna cut that Negro no slack. Nephew just standing up there. He just looking, The Black Lives Matter guy done got swept up in that. So he just in there filming. Man, they don't want to. You think them white folk won't hear that? They killed a police officer now. Now remember now, you fooling around, let police officers get killed out here on the street now. Oh, all America got to come to a pause. Flags lowered, police come from all across the country. They killed that man. And so now, here you go, caught up. I'm just saying this prospectively for anybody watching it. You tell your young people, don't let these people lead you down a path of destruction and foolishness now. Now, nephew ass going to jail. Who gonna be there to, say, well, nephew, oh, he was just standing around looking. No. When you ran up in that building, your time to exit was when they hit the first step at the Capitol. You should have said, no, I'm a punk now. It's time for me to punk out on you. I'll see y'all back at the Holiday Inn, the Motel 6. I'll see you down at the Rochambeau Hotel, but I'm the hell out of here. I'm finna go over here to the Chili Bowl, or I'm going to see the King statue. That would have been a great time to become a tourist. The minute them people start hitting them stairs and talking about they finna run into a building and they finna stop the steal, they're going to hold people hostage. They talked about hanging the vice president. You hear all of that and your ass still walking around there looking around. They are picking people up as they fly back in from Washington at the airports. You see them two good white ladies they picked up coming back from wherever they were. They got them. They were watching their clothes come around the carousel at their airport at home, and they got them nice shining stainless steel bracelets put on their arm. So don't let the mob get you caught up now. That's not just about protesting. That's just in life. If you're going to make a dumb decision, I would rather you just make a dumbass decision on your own. It's better for you. I believe that the evidence is going to show that there was complicity here all the way to the White House. I believe that it's going to show that they were told not to staff adequately for security. We clearly saw that the police officers opened the barricade to allow people onto the campus. A lot of people got to be fired. Now, the operative question in Washington was the one that was asked during the Nixon impeachment hearing. And what is that favorite question that goes to the heart of any cross-examination or any search for truth? What we need to know as it relates to the inadequate security, as it relates to all of the events leading up to this, is when people hit that stand, what do you know? What did you know? And when did you know it? That's all we need to know. Were you called and told not to have adequate security? And if so, who made the call to you? Okay? What did you know and when did you know it, Mr. Capitol Police Chief? Now, they got another problem with the police after they done killed one, and we haven't had any condemnation. Well, the Atlanta Police Union, man, he got a lot to say about, whether it's in Atlanta or anywhere else. Atlanta Police Union, man, well, he ain't got nothing to say about, the goings on. Now, let me tell you what else happened. Now, this is what I'm telling you that you need to make sure you don't miss. We saw Viking Man. We saw, who else? What other character? We saw Piano Scarf Lady. Elizabeth, crying Elizabeth. We saw the man smoking weed. Did y'all finally see him wrapped in American flag smoking weed inside the Capitol? Maybe he suffered from glaucoma. I don't know. We saw nephew just standing around looking. We saw a bunch of different characters over the course of that thing. But what they also found is there were a lot of, I think they're up to about 8, 9 different cities where there were actual active members of the police department on the campus and inside the building, apparently. Police department. So police department is going back because this was really promoted as a national rally. They were expecting 100,000 plus people. I don't know who ultimately how many showed up, but they want to know now how many firefighters. They found firefighters was up in there. Let me give you just a roll call of some of the people they found inside the building. Firefighters from other jurisdictions, police officers from all several different states, preacher up in there. They had an elected official, House Assemblyman down in one of them states, South Carolina, one of them. They had a preacher, an active preacher up in there, who has a church, a congregation. Of course, you've seen all the resident crazy people, Viking man. They got all of these different people up in there. All right. So I started looking. I said, well, if we attorneys, attorney from Atlanta up in there, attorney from Atlanta inside the place. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about he's inside, actively engaged in the protest. An attorney now. Who else did y'all see up in there? So I'm just saying to you, as Tamika's saying, none of this should surprise us, right? But I just want you to remember what you're seeing with your eyes. And it's what I say all the time. And it's what Neely Fuller said. Unless and until you understand racism and white supremacy, anything else you seek to understand will simply confuse you. Why would an attorney who knows the law, who knows that everything that was going on over at that rally, after the speaker spoke, after the president had induced you to go up them stairs and walk into that building and terrify the people, why do you think he would go up in that building, terrify the people, and think he would just walk off and go back home to practice law? Because he was caught up in the mob mentality, and it overruled all of them years worth of practicing law and all of that money he spent now that's probably going to end up in him being disbarred. Because his leader, the cult leader of this cult, told them to do it. Okay? So, but the point that I'm making is the people who were up in that place, along with a basket of deplorable, are everyday American citizens who operate in every endeavor of life. Teachers, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the preacher. Right? And so you don't just put this on, my point to you is, don't just put this on a few people with crooked teeth and a couple of people who are just neo-Nazis and skinheads and, who don't like black people. And, don't just put this on them now. Understand that these people, the damn teachers up in there, the firefighter who wasn't even at work, what is he doing up in there? What are police officers doing in there? They uphold the law every day. What it lets you know is that these people have no allegiance to nothing other than white supremacy. And they believe every word that comes out of this Trump fella's mouth. Just know that old Becky's sitting next to you now, processing them claims, sitting right next to you. You better look at her side-eyed now. You just better look, keep your head on the swivel. I know it ain't all of them, but it's the lawyer, the doctor, the preacher, the police officers, the firemen. Okay? Your eyes ain't fooling you. You see who coming out of there. So from this point forward, I want you to just keep looking at who come out of there. See, they want us to believe it's just the crazy people. Lord knows it's enough of them in there. The craziest one in there goes to the man who tased himself in the balls, right on into glory. How do you even have a funeral for that cat? This dude is such a white supremacist and everything. He said, look here, he has a industrial taser he has a taser better than Craig and them on, Fridays. He got an industrial taser, done jammed it down in the front of his pants because he said even if they try to stop me, maybe they ain't gonna feel down here in my junk to get my taser out. Plus, we done breached the security, so we ain't going through no metal detector no way. So I'm gonna stuff this down in here, and if I get anywhere near that Nancy Pelosi, if I get anywhere near, these senators and these congressmen, I'm gonna put it on them. And say went to grab a picture off the wall, he gonna go destroy the property and hit the chair the wrong way. The probes come out of the taser, hit him in the ball. I hope these people making this up. I'm hoping for his sake that they made it up. But the thing is so stuffed down in the front of his junk. And all the people see he fell on the ground because the thing, he got his belt on and everything on. And he just sitting there just shaking to death and being electrocuted by his own foolishness. The device is stuck in the front. And that's the first fool. Fool number two. That's why you can't protest with everybody. Now, I mean, I'm 54. I ain't gonna get no growner than this. I'm 54. And I look good too, don't I? Look at this skin here. Is the camera picking up this skin though? I got to go get my alkaline water because I'm a little been in this hot house, Look good it is. Not a wrinkle nowhere. Do you see one? I just did that. That ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I just did that because I need to reassure myself that I still look good. But so did y'all hear what these people said? When they got in there, I mean, now what I have observed, I didn't see did anybody see any small babies? And wasn't no babies in there. I didn't see no babies in no strollers. I didn't see no children, no small children. So these were all grown men and women. Can anybody tell me that being the case? Now there's some damn basket of deplorable. Why in the hell? Did you hear what the report was? They said they got... I got to stop. I'm just going to stop this live right here. I can't go no further than this. They said they going... Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. No babies in there, right? Y'all heard me clearly. Heard me clearly. Why they got... I can't do it. Somebody pray for me. Say a quick, real prayer for me. Why they got boo-boo? They said they go into the office. They got boo-boo all over the wall. They said, who does that? So somebody had to go boo-boo in their hand and I guess take it and spread it all up and down the hall. And then on top of that, as if that ain't bad, where the hell you get these people from? Who in their mind would think, let me go ahead and boo-boo, I guess, in my hand, and then just run my hand all up and down the wall. As if that wasn't bad enough. Once again, I didn't see no little small children there. But maybe we can say, well, oops, maybe the child had an accident. I don't know. But then they say they got pee everywhere. The whole hallways are full of TT. So you got boo-boo and TT all up and down. What in the hell? Hillary Clinton, look here, damn it. We apologize to you because this about the worst damn basket of the damn plurals I've ever seen. You believe this bullshit? I'm talking about boo-boo TT all over. My God almighty. So, so I'm just saying, y'all, something's wrong with this bunch. I mean, that alone is got to be some kind of federal hate crime. I mean, really, why go to the protest if you can't hold your Bibles, not together? So, oh man. So anyway, I'm saying this is how infantile and juvenile and stupid these people are. But they want their country back. And these are the Trumpsters now. I mean, really. Now, just imagine you done been down protesting with them, and all of a sudden somebody reach their hand back behind them. I reach their hand back to the ass. We've been out here protesting. We've been talking just small talk. We get in here together. Here, all of a sudden, you go, and then you take your hand and start running all up and down the hall with it. Oh man. Anyway, let me stop. This is the level of dementedness that went on inside that we didn't know about last Wednesday. And finally, y'all got me nose running, eyes crying. I'm crying. Lord have mercy. The level of dementedness on the boo-boo TT. People in costume now. But when they got them little pictures, all of them looking somber and sad and miserable. But I started thinking on the real note, though, because I have to make light of this stuff. But they actually, the feces on the wall is real. And that's a phenomenon of a deeply disturbed individual, psychologically. They do that a lot in prisons and other places. So that has a psychological basis to it. And it's the ultimate sign of disrespect. But I started thinking, because it really didn't hit me until I was listening. And it was treasonous. The more you hear on the inside. Now imagine Mike Pence. I'm going to talk about Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi, and then I'm out of here. Mike Pence, the duty and fidelity of loyalty is really something. I would say now, if you can find you one or two, you ain't going to find you no more than that, who really will, we always talk about how ride or die chicks and ride or die dude, that's my ride or die. You get into some serious trouble and watch their ass ride off. They ride or die. As soon as you get in a real jam, I ain't talking about something that you can just fix. I'm talking about when you are really in a jam. They ride or die. They're going to ride right on off, and they don't give a damn whether you die or not, because they just not made like that. You really get jammed up, and you'll see ride or die. But think about Mike Pence, who have arguably, he is not Trump now. I mean, I think the man operates with some level of rationality, right? He's not Trump. And so he goes over there just to do what the law requires his job to do. And that is just go open the envelope, announce it like the Academy Awards, as they said. Georgia pledges 16 votes for Trump, 16 votes for, cast 16 of his elected for, whomever. And then after less than an hour, it's over. Been more loyal to that guy. He gets over there now. He's inside the room. He's inside the room. And because he had refused to just sedition, he said, no, I don't have the authority to go in there and just announce you won, man. That ain't how this works. The Constitution does not, I can't just open the envelope and say, oh, regardless of what's in the envelope, Donald Trump won. I cannot legally, there's no basis for me to do it. Trump gets so mad at him. So he's standing outside the door. And because Trump done told him, we disappointing Pence. Pence, if he don't do his job, we don't have a chance. They are chanting from the inside. Did y'all hear them on the inside? Now, for whatever reason, on this particular day, I believe he brought his wife or family probably just with him, because he's supposed to get on the plane and be headed out of the country right after that ceremonial thing was over. So I think his wife may have been with him. But from the outside, they're saying, where is Pence? Hang Pence. Hang Pence. Hang Pence. And all you hear is the melee. And you're hearing all of this commotion. See, when you're in a environment that is sterile, no, baby, I ain't crying, I'm laughing. Man, so you ain't got to worry about me. I ain't got no, who is that boy that cry all the time? My eyes are got watery. And I got this backlight. I got my nice little light on the back. I'd show it to you so I can, because it's dark in here. But I got one of these nice round lights, and my eyes are sensitive light. But no, I ain't crying. I'm real into it. But what was I saying? I'm talking about Mike Pence. So you're in an environment that you can hear this noise now. And it'd be like me being in this house. There's a whole nother level down here. If all of a sudden I'm hearing a bunch of noise come out and I know there's nobody in here, then I got one or two choices. I'm going to either run to it and see who the hell done got in here. Plus, we know ain't nobody supposed to be in here. And so I know the decorum of this place, and you hearing all this commotion, then you hearing hang Pitts, and you standing in there, and I'm sure he probably leaned over to the man. What did these people just say? What did these people just say? Hang who? Are you kidding me? And so he gets on the phone and immediately calls the back line to the White House. I'm sure he probably called the president's direct line. No answer. He then calls the White House security and tell them, get some reinforcements over here. They said Trump told them that the National Guard was already on the way. Found out that wasn't the case. So this man had been lied to. Because in Trump's mind at that time, he is fully doing what he intended to do. And that is to halt the proceedings until they can figure out how he can be declared the winner. And in Pence's mind, at that moment, standing there with his wife, having been, now the security for the vice president is definitely much tighter. He has a Secret Service available to him. He has every, and so they having to shuttle this man off, the number 2 man in charge, because his boss did not like something he said or did. They're having to squirrel this man off inside the Capitol and hide him because a crowd is hollering, hang him. Okay? And he had to go home and with his wife now and recall this. Can you imagine all he has seen and heard this man do in the last 4 years? Can you just imagine the stuff he's had to even hold his nose and probably like it as much as Trump? So I ain't gonna, but anyway, I ain't gonna spend no time on that. So I would, look here, I would have done, after that, 25th Amendment, the 25th verse, whatever, we would have already activated that, because ain't nowhere in hell. I have been loyal. I have done everything you wanted me to do. I've shut up when I should have spoke out. I've done everything you wanted me to do. But because I'm not willing to engage in this thuggery and foolishness, you will put me and my family's life in jeopardy. I have no more use for your ass. That's it. It's over, buddy. No way in the world I'm going, you put my family and me in jeopardy? Last thought is this, and I'm done. Because I just thought maybe these are just nice protests until you start seeing and hearing the inside. I am very convinced. Can you imagine what really would have happened to Nancy Pelosi or any of those other senators that they thought was anti their cause? Let's just stick with Nancy Pelosi. Here you have a petite, frail almost woman. She's not very tall. Probably 150, 60 pounds, if that. Can you imagine if they would have found her just going about her business in the hallways? I asked myself, would they have killed her? And the best answer to that is, did they take a fire extinguisher and hit the police officer in the head? Did they use the force of that crowd to try to, this is just the stuff we've seen now, they took the crowd and tried to smash the police officers, push them up against a corner, and the guy is there wailing. The police officer is screaming for his life. What do you think they would have done? Somebody asked if they seen Maxine Waters. She just happened not to get the memo that it was going down like that and was running late and happened to just walk up in there. Do I believe they would have killed them? Absolutely. And therefore, the highest penalty available to everybody who participated in that has to be salt. If they do not bring Trump up on charges and charge him with this, shame on them. It's a shameful, what we have seen now. Now, we didn't know any of this last week. What we've seen coming out is they just keep on coming. It's shameful. It's beyond shameful. I think they would have killed anybody that they saw. I think you had just that many crazies in there. Just like they killed the police officer. I think that's what you would have been watching. So my lesson to you is, when you see a crowd and you know that ain't what you're not made like that, leave. I don't care if that's a crowd of 2 or 3 people or a crowd of 2,000. If the crowd is going somewhere that you don't want to go, you're not ready to go, leave. That ain't being a coward. That's being straight up. Because you will get swept up in the crowd now, and you're not going to be able to say, well, I just got caught up. I didn't really go there for that. Because in Georgia, we have what we call party to a crime or accessory to a crime. You get charged with the same crime. If somebody got murdered, you get charged with murder. You're going to see a lot of murder charges coming out of this. And this is not something that Donald Trump going to be able to pardon these people and get. No. That ain't going to happen. So anyway, brothers and sisters, I'm just telling you, I just wanted to just break that down a little bit, talk a little bit about that. Look here, be great, be fearless. Watch this, learn. The wonderful thing I'm learning is that you all are learning a whole lot by watching it. Understand that observation is one of the great high portions of science. When you observe, you got to observe a phenomena. Does it change? What changed about this? What changed in the last few days that turned this man into a pariah after they've really been trying to do this for the last 4 years or so? And for those who among us who's done, we told you who he was. Now you just see the evidence of it. Because if this man ain't Satan, he'll do to the real one get here. Because it's a close thing to him. When you incite a riot and then you run back to the sanctity and the security where your family is protected, by the whole military apparatus of the United States, but you would send your vice president into harm's way, don't care nothing about him and his family, whether they were harmed, killed, maimed, or whatever. You didn't give a damn. You didn't send them any real support. You knew that this was a hostile environment, and you left that man hanging, you know. And to Pence, dumbass, if he allows for that to happen, shame on him. Brothers and sisters, don't let anybody take your manhood or your womanhood away from you. Don't let them do it. You know. And if you would put my life into jeopardy like that because of your small political mindedness, you know, it tells you how dangerous this man really is. So I'm down for the impeachment. I'm down for the Article 25. I'm down for indicting him after he leaves office. I'm down for holding him accountable for the 5 people who died on that campus of the Capitol, because all of their blood is on his hand. He was the one man that perhaps could have stopped it all, and instead of stopping it, he incited it. Even the nut job that ended up with his testicles blowed off by his own taser, even the nut job, blood is on Trump's hand, and he was a fool. Last thing, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, if you are a taser owner, if you own a taser, do not, under any circumstances, stick it down in the front of your drawers. Under no circumstances now. I'm just saying, don't stick it in the front of your drawers, because that's one hell of a way to lead away from here. I'm telling you. I don't know. That's one hell of a way to lead away from here. I mean, really. How do you explain that to your grandchildren? Well, how did granddaddy die, mama? How did Papa leave with me? Well, he died a true patriot. You know, he had his nuts tased off. I mean, really. How do you put all that on the epitaph? How do you put all that on tombstone? I mean, you know, really. That's just crazy. Look here, you all be great, be wonderful, be blessed, be a blessing to others, and that's all I got for y'all today. Cause I can go on and on and on about this stuff, but I'm not gonna do that. All right, y'all good? All right, and lastly, just don't let nobody make a fool out of you. You know. I believe in having deeply held beliefs, because I have them. You know, there's some things that I'm not negotiable on. You either believe it or you don't. It don't mean I'm totally disassociated with you, but you don't need to argue with me about whether a woman has a right to choose. Argue with somebody for whom they're willing to engage you, because I'm just not. You know, that people have a right to live and be free and love who they want to love. I ain't got time to argue with you about that. You know, that poor people should have housing and should have health care regardless of the index of their income. Argue with somebody else, because I believe that when we have a place called the Humane Society that will house a dog that is without a home, but we have nothing of its equivalent for human beings, then we are in a society that has bent its arc the wrong way, away from justice. You know, we said the arc of the moral universe is long and it bends towards justice, but it does not bend on its own. And so we have to keep bending it by protest, by outcry, and by everything else. But don't let nobody talk you into the illegal stuff that went on. And hold all of these crooks, from the youngest to the oldest, 100% accountable for the blood that's on their hands. Finally, I'll pick this up tomorrow, Patio Chronicle. Be ready. Put your shoes back on. Raphael Warnock had a great analogy. Daddy told him, put your shoes on. Get up, get ready, put your shoes on, because that's something to do. there's about to be something to do in Georgia, because the General Assembly just opened up. And you can bet it's going to look like 1955 down there with all the voter suppression laws that they're going to try to put in place. But we've got to be ready to gird up and get ready to fight against it. Right? And so I think it was Coretta Scott King that says our freedoms is won by every succeeding generation. They're not guaranteed. Our freedoms are won by every succeeding generation. So every generation, every 25 years, every day, literally, we got to be ready to fight to make sure that your free access to the ballot is unencumbered. You know, that you don't have all these onerous requirements. Because what the Republicans just saw in Georgia, that they cannot win in Georgia. That if the trend line stay where it is, there will not be another Republican governor. There will not be a Republican Secretary of State. There will not be a Republican, labor commissioner. If black people organize and activate, that their world as they know it has come to an end. And let me tell you this, brother, they are not finna give you their lunch bucket. If you get it, you better get ready to fight for it. So get your shoes on. Get up, get ready. There's something for us to do here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.